What do you do? What do you mean, do? Well, do.
Hello, it's the police. Can you open the door, please?
What do you mean, do? Do you mean, what do I do now? What have I done? What am I going to do?
Well, I don't like talking.
I don't know. Why? What do you do? Oh, I do me bit. On me tip. Cut down fences at a snip. Fight for freedom, fight for fairness, fight for out. I couldn't care less. What, so you mean you're one of those, activist people?
You've got an order there by a judge.
Yeah, I suppose so. Yeah, I'm an activist. Why, what do you do? Oh, me? Me, I'm a copper.
You know, we can do things on our own. We don't need, you know, to go and have the council support and everything. We can just set up a community garden if we wanted to, you know, like just squat a piece of land, or like we squatted a cafe.
You find your building, look, you need the right size and the location. Something a bit different about building is nice. You set your date that you can go in and make sure everything's ready. You need a couple of people to go in, first of all in the morning, to check that they can, check they get in, check no one's been alerted to it.
All right, see you later.
It's all right. You all turn up there, you get into the building. Hopefully by that point it should be quite easy over a wall or through the front door or a window or something.
That's exactly how we left it. It's such a fucking beautiful building, isn't it?
I can't believe we've still got electricity.
Then you change the locks on the building to secure it. As soon as the locks are changed, it's your building really. Then it's a matter of getting some furniture in there to make sure you've established that you're using the building. And then you just sort of get it together and you wait for the police to turn up.
I'm just nervous. I'm sure the police are going to show up and that's going to be quite stressful. But as soon as we get this sign on the front door, section 6, they can't do anything about it. We just say we've been there for like 48 hours. Then we have a legal right to be there because we can say it's our home.
Once you've been involved in activism for a while, and you keep, I mean, so much of it can be focused on stopping this and, oh my God, we've got to stop Monsanto from doing this and stop Tarmac from doing that. And it's all so, you know, you're up against a wall all the time trying to stop things. And doing something like this is a really, like, wow, positive way of reaching out to people and saying, wow, look, abandoned building, what can you can do with it?
This is now a legal squat. We have been here 48 hours. We've got legal warning, section 6 notices under the Criminal Law Act 1977. We are totally legal.
That DIY way of working, it takes a long time to get used to. It's really confusing at first. You feel lost because you want to hang around and ask people what you're supposed to be doing. You know, once you do squatting, you learn a bit of everything. You learn how many talents you do have, and you really surprise yourself.
You don't mind hanging upside down? Yeah. I'd love to.
Let's all do it.
Just don't drop me.
You know, because some people are apathetic and say you can't do anything, and it's just bollocks.
And that's exactly the sort of society that I think the people you know, who are running things want. They want people to sit at home and watch the telly and just absorb this crap and then go out and buy stuff and then come home again and not talk to their neighbours and not do their own things and not be creative and not organise.
It's gone really smoothly today. I think just because everyone knows pretty much what they're doing and they know the building and stuff like that. We've come back in and found the building exactly as we left it, which is great. Like, not too much needs doing. Like, every time we've gone to a building before, it might look a bit run down today, but it's been much more derelict, and this has got everything working on it. So, yeah, it looks like it's going perfect. Looks like we'll definitely be open within 24 hours, really.
attraction's about people getting involved in what's going on in the world and trying to make it a better place. It's about doing things yourself, not asking other people to do it. So not asking Parliament to sort it out, or getting your MP to do it or your councillor, but saying we can do it as a community, as a group of people, as a group of mates. We're going to sort things out. It's our lives that are being affected by it.
It's very much presenting an alternative to everything else that's going on. It's like right there on the main street, it's a squat, and it's sort of right in your face, and people can't miss it. Well, last year it was very different because we'd never done this before. This was our first time. I remember we had this meeting where half the room said, oh, we can't put too much political stuff up on the walls, it'll frighten people off. And it was agreed, and the politics was just kept totally out of it. I don't think politics put people off, not when unless it's party politics, obviously, because that's dull, but when it's politics about doing it yourself and anarchy, then it's not dull.
You're trying to sort of challenge people's ideas for normal, how things run normally, and so the donations had to do that, the amount of people that just sort of had a bit of a head fuck from that. I don't know if it was good or bad. How much do I pay for this tea, or whatever you think it's worth. And sort of some people got really into it. I was like, oh right, wicked, and gave a quid sometimes, And other people just sort of felt it seemed like they would rather just not have to deal with that, having to think about something, which is quite funny because it's sort of the point, but at the same time I sort of felt kind of like, oh, that poor bloke, he just wants to have a cup of tea.
We have a group in Manchester which meets and organises certain things, and it's got an environmental focus, I suppose, but in the past couple of years it's broadened out to be a lot more political generally.
Who's the chief negotiator?
I haven't myself had much to do with the owner, but after last year, I think he's trying to settle it amicably.
I really have very little sympathy with him. It's quite interesting, at least 3 different students have come in and said, oh, he's my landlord.
Ollie just sort of went up to him and he's sort of just chatting on his phone and ignoring him. But Ollie was just like as if he smells and he didn't want to talk to Ollie.
Yeah, it was just sort of pretending I wasn't there, really. It was probably too far beneath him to warrant a word or two. So never really got much of an idea about who he was, or if they had any good reasons for letting a beautiful building like that go rotten, rain coming in, floors with dry rot, etc.
As far as we can gather from the lease, there's a company coming in to change this place into a bar restaurant. If they're going to use the building to its potential, I think we should move on.
This is a totally abandoned building. It's blatantly obvious that no one has been used. I mean, this is the second time we've squatted it, for God's sake.
They gathered a bit of information and then went off again for a cup of tea, probably.
We're doing something amazing here, I mean, if he was at all reasonable, he'd just see that we were doing something amazing and just walk away.
Burning crimson heat, dripping through my mind, slowly forms shapeless designs, colourful yet benign.
It's the famous Okasional Cafe, pancakes and poetry night. They come here from miles around, at least as far as Hume.
I'm sure every event came from a different place, like the poetry and pancakes evening. That's sort of fun and giving poets and people a chance to express themselves in that way. So that doesn't really have any sort of political, much radical motivation behind it. It's more just creating a space that's enjoyable, I suppose.
No, it's hot because it's been on.
Yeah.
Wow, that's
Just
a bit big, John. I can't eat all of that. Oh my lord.
That looks really
Try
thick.
that one to start off with. Just poured a mixture over a load of burnt pancake, man.
Don't criticise until you try it yourself.
Take off the gloves, throw down the gun, run to the fields, dance in the sun, bass and drum, just for fun, come on.
I think people don't like to see others, you know, getting off their arses and doing stuff a lot of the time, because it makes them realise what they're doing with their life is so narrow and short term.
They let people die on their kitchens. They do. There was a lad murdered on their kitchen on their burger burner a few years ago because they treat them so bad. They don't allow unions.
No, you're getting that wrong.
Pay them.
So you're going to have to leave the store. Come on. Just let them leave. Come on.
Yeah, have one. No, you have to leave the store.
Don't eat at McDonald's. Make you ill. I can't think of any.
We know the cafe is really good, that it's really good from like loads of different perspectives, that it's a really good way of being visible. It's like Earth First, this is what we do, here we are, come in, get a cup of tea the first time, and the next time somebody comes in they might have to do some washing up. Maybe the next time they come in they might get involved in going on an action.
Lots of people said they agreed with us, but they still carried on. But it takes a while for information to seep into the back reaches of their brain, I think. But it's good, we've said a lot of stuff, so it's been nice.
Policeman is sort of like acting as a go-between between us and the landlord, waiting for him to come and see what we've got to say, and then he'll go back and tell them what we've said, and then he'll come back and tell us what they think.
We'll definitely be in next week, so it's going to take them that long if they were going to try and get us out. We haven't got any court summons yet, so they're not going to get us to court this week. If they get us to court next week, it's another few days after that. So that's definitely here next week. And then after that, it depends on how they think, well, whether they carry on believing us that we're going to negotiate. So.
I think he'll go for legal action myself.
Well, you've not got someone coming along taxing you all the time. You're not going to charge you £2.30 a pint and then tell you to go home at 11:10. They're not going to charge you £6 to get in. They're not going to say you can come in and you can't come in. You can't have a spliff in here, you can't lie on the floor and be silly.
You just push past me, who is it?
I work the parties, which is a real shame. I'd quite like to go to one. It's my sort of party. I get a responsible head on. Don't get drunk, don't take drugs. Oh my God, what if there's a fire? I can't settle, I feel really responsible for this building.
We can be responsible and respectful and creative and you know, hold all sorts of events and hopefully be inspiring and make people realise that there are changes that people can make from very little ones about the resources that they're using up to very big ones about organising their communities to make them safer, healthier, freer places to be.
I think that's part of the idea in it behind the squat as well, is getting people active.
You know, the genetics group came and did a workshop in the first week that was packed full of people, you know, learning about genetics, and also some students who do science and have a different aspect on genetics.
I think people manipulate the terminology they use to make it sound more frightening than it actually is.
Well, I sell organic vegetables, you know what I mean, so I'm on the freaking front line of the genetics campaign, you know, day in, day out, informing people and supplying people with stuff that is GM free, so that's what I do. I'm well into that, yeah. Support it.
Nobody is making profit. Maybe a project that they're involved in is going to benefit. You know, like if they want to do a really good action, then they're going to benefit from the cafe's existence, but it is a fundraising cafe for radical activism.
And like, I think this is how the student union should be run, you know what I mean? Non-profit making for a start. spreading the word. It's letting people come in and have a cup of tea without being ripped off, and it's about sort of sitting around and having just decent conversation. When you go up there, right, and you just talk to people in the cafe, and they, you know, they'll be talking about all sorts of stuff.
If you're a middle-class lefty kid and you've got nothing else to do for a while, then fair enough. Hey, well, fair enough, you'll grow up.
It is a fairly middle-class thing to be doing. I think that's a fair criticism of the whole ecological movement generally, actually. Although I think a lot of people would shout at me for saying that, but I think that, you know, it genuinely is a lot of middle-class people because they have got the time and they haven't got to worry about money and whatever.
There are people that do realise that they can give their life, you know, to fighting for something or incorporate that into their life, and that's wicked, and I don't see why anything sort of negative should be judged against that.
Where else could you go? 5 o'clock, Manchester, and find about 200 students who'd all just been to the same club. And we're still very locked up.
What time is it? 20 to 6. This is not possible. It's the only place I've known in a long time in Manchester that this has happened, yeah? It's wicked, man.
If we just said we're going to resist eviction, then probably that is going to make him lose his lease. Yeah, as soon as those people find out that we're going to resist eviction, it's going to be a sort of court process thing. Yeah. We could make that lease defunct. Do we want to do that?
We've got a really, really irate landlord on our hands.
I think the only justification we can have to do that is if we want to have a permanent squat.
I like the way that people can come in and be creative with the space. People like Matt being able to come in and say, I'll organise a punk gig. Like, yeah, great, we know nothing about punk gigs. Never done one of them before, but yeah, why not?
We'd actually given the policeman a date, the 26th of April. The policeman hadn't been able to talk to the other party. They could have said whether or not it was suitable for them. They decided that they was going to serve court papers on us.
There's a big sort of rota sheet, not a rota sheet, a list of events, and you just fill in, if there's a meeting you're holding, you actually just write it in and the time.
Playing some reggae and ska here on Saturday.
Guilty as charged, my love, dancing all night. I was loved up to the eyeballs, and it felt right that instead of getting pissed off and it ending in a fight, I was guilty of dancing all night. But I'm guilty as charged, my love, of cracking open squats, cause there's places sitting empty, and I need somewhere to doss. It's winter.
We're here this morning to go before the High Court judge about a possible eviction of the Squat Cafe on Oxford Road.
And I'm guilty as charged, my love, of blatant anarchy, but an anarchist is what I am and what I'm glad to be. You can keep me down and you can lock me up and you can throw away the key. But you'll never take my songs, my love of life, my sense of wrong. You'll never quench the flame inside of me. You can keep me down and you can lock me up and you can throw away the key. But you'll never quench the flame inside of me.
It is ordered that, by consent of those present, the plaintiff recover possession of the premises by 12 noon on Monday, the 12th day of April 1999.
Take it to Claire's.
Okay, let's take everything to Claire's.
Go on then, do it.
It's not a waste at all. It's always difficult to gauge, you know, what the exact consequences of anything are, but I think we've sort of raised an agenda about wasted buildings a bit for a few people, and about the possibilities of doing things without trying to rip people off, and about people coming together without very strict structures and rules, and still working together and achieving lots, and about getting, you know, creative people together doing lots of different things. I think it's been excellent.
Last minute, all the stuff's out, and we're going to be out in a minute. We're just hanging around just to annoy the owner for a little bit.
Oh, wait, jump it up, please. I didn't say please.
So the police have gone in today, and so they chuck everyone out. What's going to happen to it? Yeah, that's what I want to know.
What I'm saying is, he's got a court order in his hand that says vacate by 12, which you haven't done. The van's gone and you've locked the door, and they're understanding.
There's no sort of student identity like there used to be. And maybe this is just the last bastion of something that's just getting crushed out of existence now, you know? I feel sorry for the landlord, maybe, but I bet you he owns another 200 houses up and down the road.
But we actually signed the lease about 2 weeks after the squatters left. But we had intended to sign it the weekend the squatters moved in. They know the law better than the police do. If they broke anything, they could have been done for criminal damage. I mean, they painted the walls, no problem. It's all come off, doesn't matter. It's all getting redone. That's great.
If we do another one, it will change again. Nothing stays the same.
I'm sure there'll be another one. I can promise you that.
Because I know that we're onto something good. I know we're onto something that has got massive potential.
Yeah, there will be another squat in Manchester because it's so brilliant. People love it.